J93, Sky Sports News.
Hi, good to see you. How's the team news looking? Esse and Turner fit again?
Yeah, very good. Team is looking very good. Everyone fit, everyone available. Just check Doucoure and Riad. All other players fit. Matt Turner is back. Romain Esse is back. Of course, Eddie and Marc are back after their suspension. So, good to have all players available.
And a second trip north in the space of just 4 days. To what extent will you rotate? To what extent can you rotate? Or do you have to carry on full go?
Yeah, also when we rotate we go all in and go for a win. But yeah, of course, we will also we are considering what we need. Playing against Newcastle, I watched the game against Man United. It was very powerful, a lot of energy, especially in their stadium. They are on a good run. They are playing for Champions League position at the end, and great team. High intensity, a lot of sprints, and so also find the right players who can compete with them. And this is how we will pick the team.
Before we talk about Newcastle, some breaking news today. Will Hughes is extended contract. Just your thoughts on that and how pleased you are to have his services?
No surprise for me, of course. I mentioned it weeks ago, so that I'm pretty sure that will extend his contract, and so it's good. Plays an excellent season for us. He's very experienced. He's also a more old school guy who talks with all the others and giving very good energy into the locker room, and all his football, his passing, his fighting spirit is great, and so really pleased that we could extend his contract.
What's been key to his form this season, do you think?
Like with everyone, so I think he also showed it since we arrived. We can see his excellent passing. His pre-orientation is a little bit similar than Adam, but he's also a great fighter and brings a lot of good energy into the squad. And all his talent, and he also, I think, has now 3 or 4 assists. His set plays improved massively. So it's a very important player for us, and he's also in the top 10 of the minutes this season from the on-field players. So it was clear that we want to extend his contract, and also from his side, it was he's here for many years now. He loves Palace. He loves to be in this club. He loves to be in this with his teammates. So
You've not had long to reflect on the City game, but what have been the main things you've been looking to work on? Obviously, conceding 5 goals will be somewhat of a concern, do you feel?
No. I talk to players, and sometimes football is a little bit weird. We conceded 40 in 31 games, but we conceded 10 in 2. So 30 goals in 29 games and 10 in 2 against Arsenal at home and against City away. And we were not on our top level in our defensive structure. And also, I mentioned it after the press conference, the manager was not on his top level from the tactical side. And then it happens when you play at City and they are doing well, and it's the same. They want to play in the Champions League next year, so they're really can see it and feel it. That they had they're down a few months ago, but they are on upward again, and then it can happen that you concede 5. But there were also some habits, some patterns we could see we usually don't show. But it's also maybe because there was a lot of pressure from Man City, and then we did a few things we usually don't do. When we see the long ball from Ederson, so it's a goal we usually don't concede. But this happens sometimes, and maybe it's better. In German, we say sometimes it's better to concede 5 in one game than to concede 1 in 5 games in every of 5 games. And so analyzing, showing, and then tell the players. It's twice we really failed in our defensive structure. 29 times we did really well. So it's better to look at the things you did 29 times, or is it better to look at the things you did twice a season? So, and we are always looking at the things we did really well. So now is a time of the season where you don't really learn new things. You have to rely on the things you already can do, and be fit and show it.
And you didn't have Marc Guehi, he returns. How big a void does not having him leave? Does that explain some of those defensive issues?
We were quite stable also against Southampton when he missed 2 games. So first of all, when you miss the captain, you miss Marc, we miss him. But I think it would be too easy, and also we're never looking for excuses, because this can happen that the player is missing a game, but it was not Marc or missing Marc. This was not the key reason. It was more or less that we. And it was not just in defending. When you see the first big chance from Omar Mamouche in the transition, it's one, I think, of our biggest strengths is also we are very well organized behind the ball in our rest defense. And here we're just 15 yards behind De Bruyne. Is completely unusual for us. We showed them clips where players were not we couldn't see them on the screen because they were out of the screen because we didn't push up quickly enough. And I don't know why. So it just happened, and so showed it, and we know that we will do it better tomorrow.
And you mentioned you made mistakes. That's quite an admission. What do you feel you got wrong, and where can you change it?
No, it's at half time. It was 2-2, scored 2 goals, had almost scoring a third goal, having a big chance with Ismaila. I think it was just the wrong signal, taking off a striker and bringing in a midfielder, because we were very dangerous in our attack. So and then in second half we just at the end with Mateusz Franca we had one chance, but we didn't get the game more in the half. And then this was just a wrong decision, changing the system from our normal shape to a 3-5-2, and especially taking off a striker and bringing in midfielder. So this was the thing, and then it's when we're always talking about bravery, then maybe this was not the bravest decision from myself.
And in terms of the rest of the season and your European aspirations, how big a period is this for you? You can qualify obviously through the FA Cup, but with the league potentially European places coming down lower and you guys being in the hunt, where do you feel?
Great, it's great. It's great for Crystal Palace. It's great for everyone. And also, this is I think we are in one of the best situations in Crystal Palace history now, in being mid of April and not having to look what happens behind you, and being a little bit worried about getting relegated. And I can remember last season. When otherwise I wouldn't sit here. So being in a fantastic position in the league, playing the semi-finals in 10 days in the FA Cup, having almost everyone available and fit. So it's a great period of Crystal Palace. All time, and this is what we are playing for, and that don't, and then it's not to feel pressure from it. It's just to feel enthusiasm, to feel energy is very positive. You can feel pressure when you play against not getting relegated, but this is a very positive things we can achieve. And this is what I want to see. And then I think we had a great start. Everybody could see it at Man City that we have this mood. It was just. And also in this game, there were maybe very decisive 5, 6, 7 minutes. Instead of it was 3-0, it was 2-2. And then something's going on. And with everyone. And not just with our side, also with the Man City side. They got the belief back and everything. So, this is, we want to show this approach tomorrow again.
What do you think European qualification could mean for this club? How big would it be? I
talk about it when we achieved it, so there's nothing to talk about now. We don't see great teams before in front of us, with Brighton, Fulham, Bournemouth, and with the same amount in Brentford, who are playing a very good season. So we see huge teams behind us, with United, Tottenham. And so, again, it makes no sense talking or thinking about the table. Now we have Newcastle, then we have Bournemouth, and then we have Arsenal. So maybe, not so bad teams in the Premier League. But again, it's good to be in this fight for these positions. Is the best thing we can have. I don't know if Palace had it, or I think especially for a few years they didn't have this battle for these positions, and it's great to be in there.
And you mentioned Newcastle's form at the top there. I mean, how tough a trip is this going to be, given how they're playing? How do you assess the threat?
Oh, yeah, it's challenging, yeah. But first of all, when we talk about Newcastle, I want really all the best wishes to Eddie Howe. I think he's still in hospital, and I hope that he recovers very well and very quickly, and that he can manage his side. And I love the way he manages his team. So I also followed him when he managed Bournemouth, and now with Newcastle. The intensity they are playing, the passion they are playing, the enthusiasm they are playing, the quality they have, and the structure. How quick forward they play, and it's really great to watch this game. And I really enjoyed watching them playing against Man United. But on the other side, we know, and we showed it at home, and of course we were a little bit lucky scoring the equalizer in the 95th minute, but it was 16-1 shots. I think it was defensively maybe our best performance in the whole season. I think they had an XG from 0.01 or 2, and this was unbelievable how we did this, and this is what we want to show again. But as I mentioned, pace from the wing midfielders with Tonali, Guimaraes, Joelinton, always able to score goals and running a lot. Livramento now always overlapping on the side and in set plays, very creative and dangerous. But also we can show that we can score goals from set plays. So really, I like these challenges, and we're facing a top team, and we want to have these challenges and see how good we can do it.
And finally, for me, the atmosphere at St James's Park is always incredible, but particularly now with the run they're on, how important is it that your players deal with that as well?
Yeah, it's keep the atmosphere calm. That's the best thing. And I think how we started at Manchester City, we could do it, but also we can see we have to be focused over the whole 100 minutes, because they just need a small light that it starts to burn, and we could see there with the goal from De Bruyne. All of a sudden the stadium was back, and so this is what, in the best way, we don't give the crowd at St James Park. But again, looking forward to play there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Oliver.
Hi.
You said after Saturday's defeat at Manchester City that your players will have learned from the experience, as have you. Having analysed the performance, what are you hoping they can take from it in order to finish this season as strongly as possible?
As I mentioned, we just sharpened our defensive structure. We also, this game encouraged us that we are always able to score goals, and then when you score 2 away, you should go home at least with 1 point, in the best case with 3. But therefore you need better defending. This is what we were talking about, and this is what we will learn from, and also always stay in the structure, in the patterns we are doing, that we can rely on each other, that it can, and this is what we talked about.
Sure, you've been in sensational form since the start of the year. 11 wins and only 3 defeats from 16 games in all competitions. With that in mind, how do you ensure the Man City result was merely a blip and nothing more than that?
Well, we can show it tomorrow, so it makes no sense talking about it today, and we have to show it tomorrow. And I could see the players, it looks like that we accepted it, so we're disappointed, but it's also okay. Analyze it, accept it, and go forward. And I could see great mood. Players had off yesterday. Also, it's important in this busy period, giving them time to recover and to relax. And today was a very good training. Players looked very sharp, and this is what we need tomorrow. And then again, it's the best thing is show it.
So trip to Newcastle up next for you then. They themselves having an incredible season. They currently sit 4th in the table. How tough a test are you expecting at St James's Park, and what are you expecting from them?
As I mentioned, a very electric atmosphere, a very electric team, a very intense game. And we played them since since I arrived, we played them twice, and it was twice one of the highest intense games in this period. So this will be the same, and you have to compete on this level, because otherwise, they with all their runs, with all their intensity, they get more and more the control, and they get the game more and more into your half, and you always have to release from their pressure, and this will be the challenge. But again, you need these challenges to improve, and you always we get a good response if we're able to play on this level every third day. We could see it. We could play the city level maybe for 30 minutes. That was not enough, and now is, of course, always to extend it, and hopefully in a few weeks, months, games, whatever, we are able to compete with these teams over the whole period of the game, and then we will get the win.
You talk about challenges, and Newcastle then a team that you really enjoyed coming up against, given the way you play, the intensity.
Yes, absolutely. So, and I watched the Carabao final against Liverpool. You could see, the passion, the desire, and you can see it in every single game. And I think it's not so difficult to show it in a final, but show it every third day. I think also they struggled a little bit last year when they was the first time they played the Champions League. I think it was also a different rhythm for them, and having these highlights in midweek, and then keeping this passion always on your top level, because I think this is, again, great quality in their team, but this is also one of their strengths. It's not so easy, and then I think this year they show it again, and then really deserve where they are in the table. They really deserve to win the Carabao final, and but hopefully they don't deserve to win tomorrow.
And that word passion, is that a strength of your players as well?
Yes, absolutely. So this is what we always can rely on, and that we always stick together, that we always work very hard as a team to get the win, and yes, absolutely.
Looking at your fixtures then through the rest of April, after Newcastle, it's then Bournemouth at home, followed by Arsenal away, and then of course your FA Cup semi-final against Aston Villa. How important is this month going to be for you in terms of your targets and your outcomes for this season?
It's a little bit maybe a boring answer, but every single game is important, because otherwise we wouldn't be here where we are now in this situation. Then maybe I could answer questions about the relegation battle like it was last year. So now we are talking. I'd like to answer questions about Europe, about an FA Cup semi-final, about all these fixtures, because that shows that the team did really great all over the season, with ups and downs, and I think every single team in the Premier League all over the world had these ups and downs, and so now it's keep the form, keep the shape, keep the spirit until the end of the season, and then let's see what the outcome will be.
I'm going to end on another question for you about Europe, unfortunately. Given only 5 points separate you in 12th from Bournemouth in 8th, and you are still in the FA Cup, is European qualification something that you're actively talking about with your players, or is it kind of in the background?
To be honest, I told the players today, but it's that we, as I mentioned before, being in the situation where we are is, I think, the best situation for many years for Crystal Palace. So let's enjoy it, because this is what I don't like, when you have a good situation in your life and you are worried. So when you aren't worried, which situation has to be that you aren't worried, and when that you don't feel pressure. So now it's time to enjoy. Now it's time to show why we are where we are, and hopefully we can show this over the next 6 weeks. I think we have to go, and then we have a great season. But all the other teams are great teams, great managers there, and they will fight for the same positions, for the same goals, and then at the end it's 1, 2 or 3 teams will achieve it, all the others not. That's sports. But for me, it's important that we enjoy the situation where we are in, and that we always having a very, very positive and great atmosphere, and also not, of course, on the other side, but I can't feel it in in any single session, not falling to being arrogant. So we are the best in the world. So this is what I really don't feel, and I think this is also what the players never show. But when we stay to our principles, when we stay to our intensity, to our spirit, then we can achieve big things. But again, it's easier to talk about it. It's more to show it on the pitch, and we will do our best to show it tomorrow again.
Yeah, is that pressure a privilege then?
Absolutely.